So in this tutorial, we're going to look at drawing the not neoprene, polypropylene piece that sits on top of our base, so actually to provide the candle shade, okay? Um, Now, the way we're going to do that is we're going to draw it as one whole piece. So although there are four sides to it, it's just going to be bent in the corners rather than joined in the corners. So you can have four individual pieces, each being joined in both sides. We're going to have one piece that goes around, and there'll just be one point of connection, okay? So first things first, remember, we're going to save our file. So this one I'm going to call John Wilson, excuse me, candle shade polypropylene. I think that's the correct spelling. That's right. Okay. Check it's going into the right folder, into your master, into your y10 candle shade folder, and click save. Okay. Then the process is pretty much using a lot of the tools that we've used already. So we're going to start with a rectangle, and the size of the rectangle that we're going to draw, and we'll put it on this first this plan view. Remember we talked about this before. So I really want this to be a plan view. Again, we can always, draw it up here and then rotate it later if we need to, but let's do it here. It seems to make more sense. So here comes our plan view, and our rectangle is going to be 90 high, tab, by 330 long. Okay, and then you can press enter. So that length, 330, is going to be enough to go around all of the sides. Okay, and let's just close my data panel up here. You can see I'm losing a whole load of screen space here. So let's just close that, have a bit more space to see what we're doing. So there's my 330 by 90. Now we're going to divide this up into 4 equal parts and 1 overlap, okay? And the overlap is for joining. So I'm going to press my line tool, and I'm going to click on that bottom line somewhere, and I'm going to draw one line, I'm going to draw a second line, a third line, and a fourth line, and that's going to give me 5 sections, okay? Now the first 4 of those need to be even, and this one I want to be 10 millimeters wide, okay? So you can see at the moment, well, those don't look even, and that doesn't look like 10 millimeters. If that's 90, then that clearly can't be 10, can it? Just by looking at that should tell us. So we can press our D for dimension tool, okay, D on the keyboard, and you'll notice when I put it on one of these points, it gives me a little point that I'm measuring from. You can click, if you move it straight onto the line, it will pull me up that entire line, but I already know that that line is 330 because it's telling me it up here. So I don't want that, and if I put it on, I'll be over constraining my drawing, and that's not a great thing for us to do. But if I click there and I click there, it's telling me that's 60. Well, we already said it needs to be 80, and when I do that, it's going to shunt that along for me. Okay, so there's the first one. I then need to do exactly the same between that one and that one. I want that also to be at 80. So I do that and I press enter and it'll shunt it along. I then do this. Now the reason it's moving these individual lines as opposed to just pushing the whole rectangle, making the whole rectangle bigger and bigger and bigger, is because this dimension is what's called a constraint. So the constraint means it's constraining the two ends here and here from getting any bigger than 330. So all of these lines, we can play around with these sizes as much as we like, but we're always going to be kept in that 330 size. If I do the fourth one here, also to 80, there you go. Now, I don't really need to do the fifth one because if I take 4 80s, which would be 320, and I know that that's 330, that has to be 10, doesn't it? But we can check it just to be absolutely certain, and sure enough, it's telling us that that is 10 millimeters on the end. I press my escape, I don't need it, okay? And that is how we get the basic shape of our four-sided piece of polypropylene to be the right height and the right length, and to have those divisions. Okay, I'm going to stop there, and on the next video I'll show you how we're going to put the holes in the two ends, okay, and then how you can decorate it, if you like, for want of a better expression. Okay, all right, well done.